What if I told you that hidden within the pages of the world's most read book are mysteries so profound that they've baffled scholars for over 2,000 years? Secrets that powerful institutions have desperately tried to explain away. Archaeological discoveries that challenge everything we thought we knew. And ancient texts that speak of technologies and events that seem impossible for their time. What I'm about to reveal will shake your understanding of biblical history to its very core. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden truths of ancient history. Today, we're diving deep into the most enigmatic and controversial mysteries contained within the Bible itself. From vanished civilizations to unexplained phenomena, from missing artifacts to impossible genealogies, we'll explore 10 biblical puzzles that continue to perplex historians, archaeologists, and theologians alike. Before we begin this journey into the unknown, make sure to hit that like button if you're ready to have your mind blown. Subscribe for more shocking revelations about ancient mysteries, and drop a comment with your own theories about these unexplained biblical phenomena. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never read Scripture the same way again. Number 10. The Enigma of Melchizedek. Our countdown begins with one of the Bible's most mysterious figures, Melchizedek, the priest-king who appears suddenly in Genesis chapter 14, blesses Abraham, then vanishes without a trace. But here's what scholars don't want you to know. This isn't just any ordinary biblical character. Melchizedek is described as having no beginning of days nor end of life, a description that has puzzled theologians for millennia. The Hebrew text literally suggests he had no recorded genealogy, nor birth, and no death. In ancient times, genealogies were everything. They established legitimacy, inheritance, and social standing. Yet Melchizedek appears to exist outside of time itself. Archaeological evidence from the ancient city of Salem, believed to be Jerusalem, reveals sophisticated priestly traditions that predate Abraham by centuries. Tablets discovered in the 1960s describe mysterious priest-kings who served a Most High God using rituals involving bread and wine, exactly matching Melchizedek's actions in Genesis. But that's not the most shocking part. The Dead Sea Scrolls discovered between 1947 and 1956 contain extensive writings about Melchizedek that were deliberately excluded from the biblical canon. These texts describe him as a heavenly figure who would return in the end times to judge the world. The question remains, who was Melchizedek really? And why do ancient sources treat him as more than human? Number 9. The Lost Ark of the Covenant. Moving to number 9, we encounter perhaps the most famous missing artifact in human history, the Ark of the Covenant. This wasn't just a religious relic. According to biblical descriptions, it was a technological marvel that could kill anyone who touched it improperly and seemed to possess powers that defy natural explanation. The biblical account describes the ark as constructed with precise measurements using gold, acacia wood, and mysterious materials. But here's where it gets disturbing. The ark's effects mirror modern descriptions of electrical phenomena. When the Philistines captured it in 1 Samuel chapter 5, it caused tumors and death wherever it was placed. The symptoms described, swollen lymph nodes, internal bleeding, match radiation poisoning. The ark vanished from history around 586 BC when Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem. But recently declassified documents reveal that Nazi Germany launched extensive expeditions to find it, believing it contained advanced technology. In 1935, SS officer Otto Rahn spent months in Ethiopia following legends that the ark had been hidden there. Ethiopian Orthodox tradition claims they still possess the original ark in Aksum, guarded by a single monk who is never allowed to leave the chapel. Independent researchers who have attempted to verify these claims report strange electromagnetic anomalies in the area. Ground-penetrating radar has detected metallic objects beneath the chapel, but the Ethiopian government refuses to allow excavation. Even more disturbing is what happened next. Number 8. The Nephilim Conspiracy. At number 8 lies one of the Bible's most controversial mysteries, the Nephilim, described in Genesis 6:4 as the offspring of sons of God and daughters of men. The original Hebrew text calls them Gibborim, mighty ones or giants. But recent archaeological discoveries suggest this wasn't just ancient mythology. In 2014, archaeologists working in Jordan uncovered skeletal remains that were 9 to 12 feet tall, with bone density 3 times that of normal humans. Carbon dating placed them at approximately 2000 BC, matching the biblical timeline. The Smithsonian Institution immediately classified the findings and removed them from public access, citing cultural sensitivity. Ancient Mesopotamian texts, predating the Bible by centuries, describe similar beings called the Anunnaki, advanced beings who intermingled with humans and created hybrid offspring. The Sumerian king list mentions rulers who reigned for thousands of years, displaying lifespans that parallel biblical accounts of pre-flood patriarchs. But here's what's truly disturbing. Native American tribes across North America have oral traditions about red-haired giants who once dominated their lands. In 1911, miners in Nevada's Lovelock Cave discovered naturally mummified remains of beings over 7 feet tall with reddish hair. Local Paiute legends describe these giants as cannibalistic and technologically advanced. The question that keeps researchers awake at night: if the Nephilim were real, what happened to their technology? And why are their remains being systematically hidden? Number 7. The Star of Bethlehem phenomenon. Number 7 takes us to one of Christianity's most celebrated events, but what the wise men actually followed may not have been a star at all. The Gospel of Matthew describes a celestial phenomenon that moved independently, stopped over specific locations, and guided travelers across vast distances. No known astronomical object behaves this way. Recent computer models reconstructing the ancient sky have identified several astronomical events around 6-4 BC. A planetary conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, the appearance of Halley's Comet, and a supernova in the constellation Aquila. But none of these explanations account for the star's described behavior, appearing, disappearing, and then reappearing to guide the Magi to a specific house. Chinese astronomical records from the Han Dynasty describe an unusual celestial object during this period that appeared in the east, remained stationary, then moved westward before vanishing. The description matches no known comet or planetary alignment, leading some researchers to propose more controversial explanations. Dr. Michael Molnar, a Rutgers astronomer, discovered that ancient astrological calculations indicate the Star of Bethlehem may have been a rare occultation, when Jupiter was hidden behind the moon in the constellation Aries. To ancient astronomers, this would have signified the birth of a king in Judea. But even this explanation fails to account for the star's apparent intelligent movement. What's even more intriguing is that similar phenomenon appear in historical records from Tibet, India, and Peru around the same time period. But what happens next will amaze you. Number 6. The Missing Years of Jesus. At number 6, we confront one of Christianity's most guarded secrets, the complete absence of any record of Jesus between ages 12 and 30. These 18 missing years represent a gap that has spawned countless theories and cover-ups by religious authorities. The canonical Gospels provide no information about this crucial period of Jesus' life, but recently discovered texts suggest he may have traveled far beyond Palestine. The Hemis manuscript, found in a Tibetan monastery in 1887, describes a man named Isa who studied Buddhist and Hindu teachings in India during the 1st century AD. The physical descriptions and timeline match Jesus exactly. Russian journalist Nicholas Natovich documented these texts, describing Jesus' journey through Persia, Afghanistan, and into Tibet. The manuscript details his debates with Hindu priests, his condemnation of the caste system, and his study of meditation techniques. Church authorities have spent over a century attempting to discredit these findings. Archaeological evidence from Kashmir reveals 1st-century Jewish communities that practiced burial customs identical to Palestinian traditions. Local legends speak of a healer named Uz Asaf, who arrived from the West, performed miracles, and taught about the Kingdom of Heaven, a title that translates to Leader of the Healed. Even more compelling is DNA evidence. In 2010, researchers studying 1st-century burial sites in Kashmir discovered genetic markers consistent with Middle Eastern populations. The implications are staggering. If Jesus spent his missing years in India, it would revolutionize our understanding of Christian teachings and their Eastern influences. Number 5. The Babel technology. Moving to number 5, we examine the Tower of Babel. But recent discoveries suggest this wasn't just about building a tall structure. The Hebrew text describes technology that could reach the heavens and unite all humanity through a single language. Archaeological evidence suggests the builders possessed knowledge far beyond what mainstream history acknowledges. Excavations at the ancient site of Babylon have uncovered megalithic foundations with precision-cut stones weighing over 100 tons. The cutting techniques required technology that supposedly didn't exist until the Industrial Age. More disturbing are the electromagnetic anomalies detected beneath the site, readings that suggest the presence of unknown metallic structures deep underground. Ancient Sumerian texts describe the Tower of Babel as a gate of the gods, a portal that allowed communication with celestial beings. The original Akkadian word Bab Elu literally means doorway of God. Tablets discovered in the 1870s describe architectural plans involving celestial alignments and acoustic properties that could amplify human voices across vast distances. But here's what scholars don't want you to know. Similar structures exist worldwide. The megalithic sites at Pumapunku in Bolivia, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, and the Osirion in Egypt all share identical architectural features and mathematical proportions with Babylon's foundations. Carbon dating places these sites at roughly the same historical period. The question that haunts researchers: if ancient civilizations possessed advanced construction technology, what happened to it? And why were these projects apparently abandoned simultaneously across the globe? Even more disturbing is what we discovered about Noah's Ark. Number 4. The Ark encounter evidence. At number 4, we uncover shocking evidence about Noah's Ark that challenges everything we've been told. While skeptics dismiss the flood as mythology, geological and archaeological discoveries paint a very different picture. In 1959, Turkish Army Captain İlhan Durapinar discovered a boat-shaped formation in the Ararat Mountains matching the biblical ark's dimensions exactly: 515 feet long, 50 feet wide. Ground-penetrating radar revealed internal structures consistent with compartmentalized design. Metal detectors identified iron spikes and brackets in patterns suggesting ancient ship construction. But that's not the most compelling evidence. Core samples from the site contain petrified wood with cellular structures indicating rapid fossilization under extreme pressure, exactly what would occur during a catastrophic flood event. Geologists have identified maritime fossils at elevations of 14,000 feet throughout the region. Global flood myths exist in over 270 cultures worldwide, all describing similar details: a righteous family saved in a boat, animals preserved, divine warning, and a new beginning for humanity. The consistency across unconnected civilizations suggests these accounts preserved actual historical memories. Recent oceanography studies have identified massive underwater formations consistent with rapid sea level changes around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. The Black Sea Deluge theory, proposed by William Ryan and Walter Pittman, describes a catastrophic flooding event that could have inspired flood traditions throughout the ancient Near East. Genetic studies of human mitochondrial DNA reveal a population bottleneck approximately 10,000 years ago, suggesting humanity descended from a small group of survivors. The timeline corresponds exactly with geological evidence for global climate catastrophe. Number 3. The Ezekiel spacecraft. Taking the number 3 spot is perhaps the most controversial biblical mystery, Ezekiel's wheel within a wheel. But when examined through the lens of modern technology, the prophet's vision appears to describe something far more advanced than ancient religious symbolism. Ezekiel chapter 1 provides detailed technical specifications: 4 living creatures with straight legs, burnished bronze appearance, and hands under their wings. Above them, a crystal firmament supporting a throne. Most intriguingly, Ezekiel describes wheels so high that they were dreadful, with rims full of eyes round about. NASA engineer Joseph Blumrich analyzed Ezekiel's account using modern aerospace engineering principles. His conclusion was startling. The prophet's description matches a helicopter-type spacecraft with rotating blades, landing gear, and directional thrusters. Blumrich's technical drawings, published in The Spaceships of Ezekiel, demonstrate how ancient language could describe advanced technology. Archaeological discoveries in Mesopotamia have uncovered cylinder seals depicting similar flying objects with beings inside metallic structures. Sumerian texts describe divine chariots that could travel through air and space, carrying messages between earth and heaven. But here's what's truly disturbing. Ezekiel's encounters weren't isolated incidents. Similar descriptions appear in Hindu Vedic texts describing vimanas, flying vehicles used by gods. The Mahabharata provides technical details about propulsion systems, weapons, and navigation equipment that mirror modern aerospace technology. Ezekiel's measurements for his temple vision use mathematical ratios identical to those found in spacecraft design. The prophet describes procedures for approaching the craft, decontamination processes, and communication protocols that sound remarkably like modern space program procedures. Even more shocking is the second biblical mystery. Number 2. The Genesis Gap Theory. At number 2 lies one of the Bible's most carefully hidden secrets, the gap theory. Genesis 1:2 contains a Hebrew phrase, tohu wa bohu, typically translated as formless and void. But ancient Hebrew scholars understood this phrase to mean became waste and empty, implying something existed before Adam's creation that was destroyed. The Hebrew word haya, translated as was in Genesis 1:2, appears 67 times elsewhere in the Old Testament, and in every other instance means became or came to pass. This suggests the earth didn't begin formless and void, but became that way through some catastrophic event. Ancient Jewish commentaries, including the Zohar and Talmudic traditions, describe multiple worlds that existed before Adam. These texts reference civilizations that were destroyed, leaving only ruins and emptiness. Fossil evidence supports the existence of complex life forms that vanished suddenly from the geological record. Archaeological discoveries worldwide have uncovered sophisticated civilizations that appear to have been destroyed simultaneously. The Younger Dryas period, approximately 12,800 years ago, marks a global catastrophe that wiped out megafauna and advanced cultures across the planet. Evidence suggests an extraterrestrial impact or cosmic event. But here's what's truly disturbing. Genesis describes God's Spirit moving upon the face of the waters, in Hebrew, rachav. the same word used for a bird hovering over its nest. This suggests protective watching over something precious that survived the catastrophe. The implications are staggering. If pre-Adamic civilizations existed, what happened to their technology, their knowledge, and what caused their destruction? Ancient texts may preserve memories of humanity's forgotten past, civilizations so advanced they seemed godlike to later survivors. Number 1. The Divine Name Technology. Taking our number 1 spot is perhaps the most explosive biblical mystery of all, the true power hidden within the divine name of God. The Hebrew Tetragrammaton, YHW, wasn't just a name. Ancient sources suggest it was a technology capable of manipulating reality itself. In Exodus, Moses uses the divine name to part the Red Sea, bring water from rocks, and transform his staff into a serpent. But these weren't miracles in the modern sense. They were applications of advanced technology that ancient peoples couldn't understand. The Hebrew text uses specific technical terminology that suggests controlled manipulation of natural forces. The Kabbalah teaches that the divine name contains the blueprint of creation itself. Each Hebrew letter corresponds to mathematical frequencies that, when properly combined, can influence matter and energy. Recent quantum physics research has discovered that consciousness itself may play a fundamental role in determining physical reality, exactly what ancient mystical traditions claimed about the power of sacred names. Archaeological discoveries at Qumran revealed texts describing the works of God, detailed instructions for using divine names to heal diseases, control weather, and communicate across vast distances. These weren't religious rituals. They were technical manuals that required precise pronunciation, timing, and understanding of natural principles. But here's what's truly shocking. The complete pronunciation of the divine name was lost around 70 AD when the temple was destroyed. Jewish tradition claims only the high priest knew the correct pronunciation, and this knowledge died with him. However, recently discovered ancient manuscripts may contain clues to reconstructing this lost technology. In 2013, researchers studying ancient Hebrew manuscripts found consistent patterns in how the divine name was written. Spectrographic analysis of Dead Sea Scroll fragments revealed microscopic variations in ink composition that may encode pronunciation guides. The implications are staggering. If the divine name could be properly reconstructed, would it still retain its original power? As we reach the end of our journey through these 10 mind-bending biblical mysteries, one thing becomes crystal clear. The ancient world was far more complex and technologically sophisticated than mainstream history wants us to believe. From the mysterious Melchizedek, who existed outside of time, to the lost Ark with its electromagnetic properties, from Ezekiel's detailed spacecraft encounters to the reality-altering power of the divine name, these mysteries challenge our fundamental assumptions about the past. What connects all these enigmas? They all point to the same disturbing conclusion. Our ancestors may have possessed knowledge and technology that we're only beginning to rediscover. The Bible isn't just a religious text. It's a repository of forgotten science, hidden histories, and suppressed truths about humanity's true origins. The question that should keep you awake tonight is this: if these biblical accounts preserve memories of advanced ancient civilizations, what other secrets are hidden in plain sight within the world's oldest texts? And more importantly, why are certain institutions so determined to keep these mysteries unsolved? I want to know what you think. Which of these biblical mysteries shocked you the most? Do you believe ancient civilizations possessed advanced technology? Have you encountered evidence of these mysteries in your own research? Drop your theories in the comments below, and don't hold back. This community thrives on bold thinking and open investigation. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden mysteries of the ancient world, smash that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on. We're just getting started with exposing the truth about our forgotten past. Next week, we're diving even deeper into the rabbit hole with Top 10 Forbidden Archaeological Discoveries that Rewrite Human History. Discoveries so controversial that museums refuse to display them and universities ban their study. You won't want to miss what we've uncovered about humanity's true timeline. Until then, keep questioning everything, keep seeking the truth, and remember, the greatest mysteries are often hiding in the places we've been told not to look. Stay curious, stay brave, and I'll see you in the next one.